Austin 316 says I just whipped your...
Stone Cold!
You sit there and call yourself the gorilla, yet you hee-haw out here like a jackass. What? I said shut up. You can kiss my ass.
Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya.
What? And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Welcome back to the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast, the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. This week we're back with episode 61, Accidents Happen, covering November of 1999. We're heading towards the end of Steve Austin's first run, basically, because he's going to be out for quite a bit here. And that's what we're getting into. And as the title says, a lot of accidents will happen, especially that last one puts him out of action for a while. Well, I'm Mike Prue along with JV. JV, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Kind of in a lull with a lot of things going on right now.
Yeah, the last time we actually recorded was 2 weeks ago. So for the past couple of weeks, you guys have got the Royal Rumble 1996 that we put out last week. We even gave you a special ECW Extreme Live Cast episode. So it's been a while since we actually recorded. So in the world, there's been quite a few things going on since we've last recorded. We didn't know who was in the Super Bowl, and now the Super Bowl's over and done with. And Chiefs are the Super Bowl champs. Kobe Bryant passed away in that horrible tragedy.
That was awful. I'll never forget where I was when I heard the news either.
Yep. I was actually taking notes to do this show, actually.
Oh, no shit.
And I just looked at my phone and got the update. I was like, what the hell? Holy shit. And then paused the wrestling and looked to see what was going on with that. Yeah, that was
crazy. I was waiting for nope, it's okay. It's all good.
Right.
It's just like TMZ fucked up.
Right, because TMZ was the first one that I saw anything from. You know, it could always be bullshit when it comes to them. But it wasn't. Yeah, so those things were happening. And now we're here, and
We got the coronavirus.
the coronavirus is going. You got the State of the Union going. The Iowa caucus is all fucked up. Yeah, so...
Yeah, American politics still blows.
Yep.
Chinese are still doing a poor job running their country and can't contain viruses and fucking...
Sending people back home to America with the fucking virus, possibly.
Like, here, go fuck up America. Go ruin their economy a little.
Oh, man. So, yeah, not that great, and plus we're both sick. So,
yeah. Like, shit, do I have the coronavirus?
Oh, man. But anyways, we got some decent wrestling to talk about. It's, it's kind of anticlimactic because we're building up to something great, but it doesn't actually happen. We'll get to all those reasons why. But before we get into that, I do want to bring up a couple things of note. Is we got a new logo, Bottom Line Wrestling Cast logo, thanks to Amy21 at Amy21 on Twitter. And her boyfriend does a podcast called the Wednesday Night Wallop, where they talk about AEW and NXT. And,
oh, really? That's what they talk about?
Yep.
Oh, I might have to listen in on that.
Yeah, the Wednesday Night Wallop. So
I followed them back, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't really take the time to look at the content. I just, but now hearing that they do an NXT and AEW show, that's right up my alley since Wednesday's now my night of wrestling.
Oh, I hear you. I'd like to get some different viewpoints. Because I only listen to Cornette. He's one-sided on it, so I like to hear what people that are actually into it think. But, so check them out, and thanks to Amy for the logo. So definitely wanted to bring that up. If you notice on the podcast feeds, you might not see the episode numbers anymore. And that's only because they're trying to align with what Apple Podcasts want, and they want clean-looking titles without episode numbers taking up so much of the space. So the dates are still in order because the metadata has the has the episode numbers in it, and it has the date that they're released, so they'll all be in order still. It's just that you won't see the number there anymore. But we do have the month and the year of what we're talking about always in the episode title. So, for instance, this is November 99. So you'll be able to keep track of the order that way, too. And if you just look in the show notes, I'll have the episode number there, too, anyway. If you want to look for the number, if you're looking for 61, then you'll see it there in the notes. So that's just a little technical thing that had to be updated. And also, supposedly, it helps with getting more listens. So that's their way of enticing you to do it, I guess.
Yeah, whatever bullshit they tell you, you gotta fucking believe them anyway.
Right.
Oh yeah, Apple said that if you drop the numbers, it helps. So people have no clue what the fuck episode they're watching.
But I could see part of that being true is because maybe like if it's like episode 150, that could discourage somebody right off the bat. Like, oh fuck, I'm already in for like 149 episodes that I gotta go back and listen to now.
It could.
Yeah.
But they're smart and they're very good manipulators over at Apple, so that's what they do.
Yeah, it's true.
They spy on you and they fucking manipulate you. They control everything you do.
Oh man. Yes. So anyway, there's that. There's the YouTube channel. Check out the YouTube channel. All the episodes are there. Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. And also on social media, we're at Bottom Line Cast on Twitter. I'm at MPRU83 on Twitter. And JV is at John Van Damage. All on Twitter there. And like I said, we gave you guys a special preview, or a sneak peek rather, of our other show, the Extreme ECW Livecast, which is available on the Book in the Territory $5 Patreon tier. So we gave you one of our latest episodes, one that's not probably from actually it was from a month ago. So that was available to you. That was our jam-packed episode that had 3 episodes of coverage of ECW. We usually only do 2, but in that case we had to do 3. So that's what you got there, and looking at the listens, most of the normal listeners took a look at it and checked it out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
You picked a good episode, too. I listened to it while I was taking a shower.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's this episode. Good one.
Right. That was pretty solid effort.
Recent.
Yeah, and it was recent, and it was more of along the lines of how we're doing it now. So a couple of the early ones we weren't totally figuring out like how we were going to do it with the audio in the background and all that, but that's how we do it now.
We're in a happy place now.
Yep.
Got it all figured out.
Yep. So check it out on the $5 tier at patreon.com/bookingtheterritory. And that kind of wraps things up here. So last time we had a chronological episode, was episode 60. That was 2 weeks ago. And that was Suck It DX. And what happened there, kind of just recap real quick, because it's been a while. The last 2 episodes had nothing to do with what we're covering today. So just get you back into the mindset that DX was reformed and Triple H retained his championship with the help of he wants DX back so that he can retain his championship, because now he has Vince McMahon who's trying to screw him all the time. Austin's after him. The Rock's after him. So one way for protection for Triple H is to get DX all back together again.
Strength back in numbers.
That's right. And the table is going to be set, as of last episode, for a triple threat match at Survivor Series between Triple H, The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. So what we're going to cover today is the build-up from November 1st up until the pay-per-view on November 14th. And things are going to change and accidents will happen. So, JV, you ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. So, we start off with Raw episode 336 from November 1st, 1999. It's a live episode from Washington, D.C. The show's going to start off with a Rock promo. So, The Rock's going to hype up the triple threat match at Survivor Series, as it's going to be Triple H, the Game, Steve Austin, the Rattlesnake, and The Rock, the People's Champion, the Brahma Bull. The Rock says he's brought both of them down, Know Your Role Ave and Jabroni Drive, and checked them into the Smackdown hotel, and he goes on and on with his normal routine and shit. But the one thing that stood out to me was when The Rock says he's going to take the rattlesnakes and tie them up and shove them up their candy asses. Austin's going to have something to say about that later. But The Rock's going to call out the Road Dogg, and they have their match. And The Rock beats Road Dogg's ass, basically.
Yeah. Squash.
Right. Vince McMahon heads out to stop DX from attacking, because DX runs down, because that's what they're going to do now. They're always going to run down and get involved. And Vince McMahon he's in like this babyface role still, where he's against Triple H, really. That's it. And kind of supporting The Rock a little bit. So Vince McMahon heads out and goes nose to nose with Triple H. Vince talks to DX backstage later on. He says this is not going to be a DX night, and Vince is going to give Billy Gunn a match with Austin, and he's going to give X-Pac a match against Kane. And then Triple H butts in and says, this is going to be a DX night. You'll see, blah, blah, blah. So we go on now to Austin having a match against Bad Ass Billy Gunn. Austin comes out there, and they're gonna show a little recap of what happened the previous week with all the Austin hunting of DX with the bear trap, the snare trap, the giant net, all those things. And Austin, when he comes out heading into this promo, he looks like he's pissed off, like something happened backstage, and he's just ripped shit about something, because he comes out late. His music playing for like a solid, 30 to 45 seconds. And then he just comes out looks like he's frustrated. He just poured water all over his head and his jacket. And he heads out. He's pissed. So let's take a listen to a pissed off Austin here.
Testing 1, 2. Let me test this damn thing, make sure it's working, because I'm not sure I understand some of the things that are coming out of it. First of all, let me cover Survivor Series. Going into this match is a triple threat. Stone Cold, The Rock, and Triple H. Triple H, you sit there and call yourself the game this, the game that. That's a bunch of BS, because if I think of games, I think of tiddlywinks. And Jesus Christ, son, when you talk about the WWF title, that ain't no game to Stone Cold.
Uh-oh. No, it's not.
Rock, you come out here singing your little nursery rhymes with the eyebrows jacked up on your forehead, and you say that you're gonna tie a rattlesnake in a knot and stick it straight up my ass. Well, oh, Stone Cold, don't play that crap.
That's gonna be a hellacious match. You're not kidding.
Come out here with your little poor man's Elvis imitation, singing little songs. Son, you can sit there and talk all the crap you want in the middle of this ring, but I dare you, I double dog dare you to look Stone Cold in the eyes that close and say all that garbage to me, because I don't think you can, because I think you're running scared, punk.
Damn.
As far as Bad Ass Billy Gunn goes, someone said, hey, Stone Cold, do you got a match? I said, oh, hell yeah, I got a match. My foot in Billy Gunn's ass. So hit his damn music so he can bring your little carcass to the ring. I'm a nice man.
All right, so there you had it. Austin pissed off. He gets in the ring. Testing 1, 2. Let me test this damn thing to see if it's working, because I don't believe some of the things that are coming out of it, which I thought was a nice line. Let me test this damn thing, because I don't believe a word that's coming out of this thing. So he says, first off, let me talk about Survivor Series. You say you're the game, Triple H. When I hear that, I think of Tiddlywinks, not the WWF Championship, because that ain't a game to me. And then he moves on to The Rock. You got your nursery sing songs, and you say you're going to tie up rattlesnakes and shove it up my ass. Well, Stone Cold don't play that crap. And that's like him basically saying, Stone Cold don't get anything shoved up his ass.
Yeah, exactly. So one way, exit only.
Yeah. Then he says, I dare you to look Stone Cold in the eyes and say all that garbage to my face. And he's holding up his hand at the same time he's saying that, like he's looking at Triple H, and Triple H is his hand. He says, I think you're running scared, punk. And I just thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah, me too.
So he goes, hell yeah, I got a match. My match is my foot in Billy Gunn's ass. So hit his music. So you get the match going there. Austin starts strong. Billy Gunn's going to fight back quickly. There's a nice back body drop followed by a clothesline. And out of the ring, Billy Gunn goes. Austin follows and punches him into the crowd. Gunn fights back, and Austin body tosses him. And then slingshots Gunn right into the announce table. And somehow Austin is busted open. I don't know. I didn't go back to see what had actually caused it, because it was just so chaotic when he was in the crowd. So all of a sudden he's bleeding now. And Austin is clotheslined outside of the ring. Then he's tossed into the steel steps. And then they finally get back to the ring. Billy Gunn goes for a cover after a choke. And Gunn works on Austin's now busted open eye. Earl Hebner's there. Earl Hebner breaks Billy Gunn's rope leverage on a chin lock while Gunn is arguing with Earl. Austin gets up and is waiting for Billy Gunn, and then pegs him off, and then hits a series of punches. You get the Luthez press, elbow. Austin hits a stun gun on Billy Gunn. Gunn bounces stunned to the corner, and Austin goes for the Stone Cold Stunner, but is pushed off into the ropes. Billy Gunn whips Austin to the corner. Gunn misses a splash. Austin hits the stunner, but doesn't go for the 3 count. He rolls out of the ring, gets a steel chair. And then at that point, DX is going to run in, pull Billy Gunn out of the ring. And Austin just goes to town on DX with the steel chair. He doesn't care about getting a win, but he does get the win because DX interfered in the match. So Austin gets the win there. Austin then takes that chair, sets it up in the middle of the ring, sits down and starts drinking some beers, and pegs off DX. So a nice little cool segment there. Austin looks strong in this segment, just making DX look like shit again. And then later there's going to be a WWF Championship match, and Triple H is going to go up against Shane McMahon. So just a little earlier than when this match takes place, which is at the end of the show, Vince McMahon is pissed at Triple H backstage. They yell at each other, and Vince is going to say that he's going to force Triple H to defend his title. Shane's going to tackle Triple H backstage. They go at it, and then they agree to have the match. Austin's going to watch backstage while he drinks some beers. And then you have also Vince McMahon's going to be the special guest ring announcer. And then he also says that Austin will be the special guest commentator. Kane's a special guest ring enforcer. The Rock is the timekeeper.
Fucking shit show.
And then you just, what they do this.
It's like the Oprah meme. Everybody gets a role in this match. You get a role. So all of a sudden the timekeeper's important.
Right. Damn timekeeper. That's like a made
the only
job.
time. Yeah. How do we get this guy at ringside? Is that just making it dual commentary or something? Yeah, fucking timekeeper.
They can't just call it the guy that rings the bell when the match is over, the bell ringer. Because that's what it really is.
Yeah. They don't have time limits.
Right. They don't say this match is scheduled for 15 minutes. They barely ever say. And if they do, it's because they said it was in a stipulation. That's the only time they'll say that. But generally, they don't do that. If you go back to the 80s,
oh, yeah,
they say it all the time. Like a match that is not going to take fucking 15 minutes.
Even early WCW in the 90s had a lot of...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those WCW Saturday nights.
Yeah.
In the early 90s, 92, 93. Yeah. They all had time limits. They actually used the time limits to be part of the story.
I like time limits, personally. I mean, they don't have to be in every match. I don't think title matches should have a time limit. But, maybe even some title minutes. Title matches that aren't on a pay-per-view or a special event shouldn't have a time limit. But if you're going to do a match on, an episode, like a Raw or a Smackdown or even AEW now, I don't know. I think it can play into story points more, too.
I liked how the TV title in WCW or NWA always had a time limit because it was meant to be the TV match.
Yep.
And if you couldn't beat the TV champion in that amount of time, then you lose, basically. You don't get the title. So you have to beat the TV champion within the 30-minute time limit in order for you to be the TV champion.
The most underrated belt of all time.
Oh, I love that belt. So many good champions.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to this. So we're gonna have this match, Triple H versus Shane McMahon, and Vince McMahon says all these people are gonna be involved in all this shit. All right, so we get to that. Okay, Austin's coming out. He has his eyes fucked up, so it was legit. He looks like he got stitches backstage before he came back out here for this. And Shane gets announced, and Shane books it down to the ring. Like, he was moving so fast, I thought he was going to trip and fall down and roll down the ramp. Yeah, in his swishies. JR mentions that this is the last time that Vince sat ringside, somebody got screwed. So he's talking about Survivor Series 97, Survivor Series 98, Montreal screw job. And then the following year at Survivor Series where The Rock was joined by McMahon and became the champion. They screwed Mankind. So each year at Survivor Series, there's been some kind of screw job. And JR's pointing that out. And Austin's out there on commentary. He's freaking hilarious on commentary. So go back and take a listen to what he has to say on commentary. It's pretty good. I just don't want to go through all this shit. So it's just so much, But anyway, so there are a few good spots here. Shane McMahon does an excellent running flying clothesline to Triple H off the God reel, and that I made a note of what time that was at. So if you're gonna go back and watch these guys, go to the 1 hour and 30-minute mark, and you'll notice Shane just doing Shane things.
Kamikaze Shane.
Right, exactly. Shane hits a pedigree on Triple H in the center of the ring, which was pretty cool too. Yep. Triple H is going to kick out on 2. The Road Dogg comes in, hits Shane with the pump handle slam. The Rock attacks Road Dogg after that, and they fight into the crowd. This leaves Billy Gunn at ringside. And Austin says to Gunn on commentary, "Don't be looking at me, son. I'll tell you what badass is all about." Playing off his own nickname. Good shit there from Austin. Shane's going to get knocked off the top rope by Billy Gunn. Gunn then attacks. And they fight off into the ramp. Triple H hits the pedigree. Austin runs back down to the ring. Austin hits a stunner on Triple H. Austin and Gunn fight to the back. Earl Hebner is out at this point. Vince is going to get into the ring, and this is like the main part that needs to be brought up here. That ties into the whole storyline. Vince gets into the ring with the WWF Championship, and he goes to hit Triple H, but he hits Shane instead. Triple H is going to nutshot Vince, and he rolls out of the ring. Earl, as usual, is ready to make the 3 count now that the heel is going for a cover. And Triple H retains the WWF Championship. And Triple H does the crop chop over Shane, and then he does it to Vince on the ring apron as the show comes to an end. So that's going to be the big storyline here, is that Vince McMahon hit Shane with the belt. Was it an accident or not? JR is going to have a line right at the end of this that, I hope he didn't mean to hit Shane with the belt. And that's going to piss off a lot of people, apparently, in the next episode. But before we get to that, there is an Attitude Era update on this. And it's a little different than the ones that we've seen before. So I figured, let's fucking do it. Triple H tosses Shane out of the ring. Vince goes to check on Shane, and that Austin's music's going to hit. Austin comes out, and he starts fighting with Triple H. Triple H lays out Earl Hebner, who's hanging around for beer, obviously. Always there. Time for the fucking beer fest. Austin sons Triple H. He had the beer fest there. Triple H is going to get back up, and then they're going to do their little routine for the crowd where they're going to say, "Oh, you're going to hit me. No, you're going to hit me." And it's a little different this time because Austin's telling Triple H, like, "Oh, you're going to hit me with the pedigree." It's usually Triple H saying, "No, you're going to hit me with the stunner."
Stunner, yeah.
Right. So Triple H is like, "No, Scott's Honor. Don't worry about it." And Triple H asked for a fresh beer. And this was funny. I got a kick out of this. Is that Mark Yeaton, the timekeeper that throws the beers to Austin, he's chucking the beers in for Triple H. Triple H can't catch any of them. He's like bobbling them around.
Butterfingers.
And then Austin's laughing his ass off about it. And Triple H is going to miss 3 times. So that was pretty damn funny. And then the crowd chanting, and I don't know if you caught it, but it sounded like they were saying, "Beat his ass, Steve. Beat his ass."
I couldn't
beat
make
his
it
ass,
out.
Steve. Beat his ass.
I didn't get that out of it all, like a Little League chant.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. Beat his ass, Steve. Beat his ass. Yeah. At least that's what I thought I heard. So anyway, they shake their hands, they cheer, Austin then stuns him, and then Triple H obviously spits the beer everywhere. And then a couple more stunners, then it's time to go onto the ramp, and then they're off. So, good little attitude, extra attitude there on that episode of Raw. Worth checking out.
Yeah, a little different than usual, like you said.
A little different.
Just enough to make it seem not played out.
Right. And the thing is, though, it's generally not played out because...
Well, for us, I mean, not for the crowd.
Yeah, not for the people in attendance, because they're only going to see it one time.
Yeah.
Unless they're the kind of person that follows them around every Monday.
Yeah. Rich people.
Yeah. There are those people that you'll freaking see.
Some of them aren't even rich. They're just... It's what they do with their money.
I guess, yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, that they can have Mondays, like Tuesday mornings off every week.
Do what makes you happy.
Yep. All right, so that brings us now to SmackDown 11 from November 4th, 1999. This is taped from November 2nd, 1999 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The show's going to start off with DX. DX is watching footage from the previous week. They're watching it on a Sony Trinitron. And
I thought this sucked.
And the Sony Trinitron is going to actually be in a lot of scenes. So it's like a traveling Sony Trinitron television that they're bringing with them to all these different towns. I don't know if you noticed, but each time they're backstage now, this is the TV that they're watching on. And I only made note of it because back in 1999, I bought that TV.
I remember that.
Yeah. I was like, my first major purchase. I bought that along with a DVD player, and I think Fight Club was the first DVD I got with it. Possibly Fight Club, maybe not. But
really?
anyway.
I wouldn't have guessed Fight Club. I don't know what I would have guessed, but definitely not Fight Club.
No. Well, I would have bought it.
I would have figured like a fucking Nightmare on Elm Street collection or something.
No, I didn't think they had collections yet for DVDs. DVDs are so new. But whatever it was, though. Actually, no, it wasn't Fight Club because they didn't have these types of cases yet. But whatever it was those ones with the snap, the black little plastic piece on the side, and then you had to snap it open.
Oh, I remember those.
And then it was just like a thin cardboard.
Yeah.
That was the cover. Like, for instance, The Matrix. When that first came out on DVD, that's how that was. And, yeah, it wasn't The Matrix either because that came out after I bought the TV, I think.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was happy as shit. Got a DVD player. Got a new TV. It's fucking awesome. That TV worked for like 15 years. Just up until recently. It probably still works. I just don't have it anymore.
Really?
Yeah. My parents have it.
Some people are taking those type of TVs and making like arcade cabinets out of them.
Oh, really?
Like you can sell, people buy those TVs for like $40, $50.
Huh.
And then build buy a cheap Raspberry Pi circuit board for like, I don't know, like $40, $50 and then build like elaborate arcade cabinets out of it.
Wow.
And use that as a screen.
Well, it makes sense because that's basically what was in those arcade cabinets before.
Yep.
Big ass TVs. Those monitors. So yeah, that just was like blasting the past there. All right, so Austin and JR are going to have a conversation in the back. And Austin is not sure about JR. Like, why'd you say that? He's like, what do you mean by saying, I hope Mr. McMahon didn't hit Shane by accident? And I know what they're trying to build to now, but initially on watching this, I was like, why the fuck does Austin care? JR said that. And they're making it seem like this huge deal that JR said, oh, McMahon, I hope McMahon didn't want to hit his son. It's like, why wouldn't he? McMahon has fucking done worse things in the past year. That him hitting Shane with the belt is not anything out of the realm of possibility. He had Undertaker, rape his daughter, kidnap his daughter and shit. And then not even recognize it later.
Yeah.
So, I don't know why everyone's in an uproar about it. So, Austin questions JR about it.
I think it's more so because Vince McMahon is kind of, put on this persona that he's turned the corner.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not this scumbag anymore. Everyone just wants a reason to remind you, like, dude, this guy's a piece of shit,
Right. But why would Austin try to stick up for Vince? And I guess Austin maybe
doubt.
Yeah, maybe Austin.
So he doesn't feel like a retard.
Right.
And try not to use that word. You know what I mean? Try not to be an idiot.
Yeah. Right. So Austin is probably just like, oh, JR, do you really think that? Because maybe you're right. But JR's backpedaling about it. The Rock is even saying it too. You know, if I find out you're lying about this, I'm gonna shove your head up up your ass, and shove your head up your ass. And then he even asked Kane and Tori about it, which is like, what the fuck, you even talking to Kane and Tori, JR, about this? So it was just too much for me, I think, that it was this big deal. And then it culminates with him having a talk with Vince McMahon. Vince is pissed about the comment. He said, you think I would hit my own son with the belt? So JR apologizes.
That's what makes it even worse. He's like people shouldn't expect that out of him.
Right. It's like, no, we do expect that. And that's why JR said it, because you could turn at any moment like that.
Yeah, you were like the best villain on TV for the past 3 years.
Right.
Like, what the fuck, dude? Of course we're going to think it's you.
Yeah. So McMahon accepts the apology. And then we go on to a promo with Vince McMahon later in the show. And DX comes out. So Triple H is going to hype up DX. Billy Gunn apparently caused Stone Cold's busted eye, so they're bragging about that. Triple H plays a replay of Vince hitting Shane with the belt. And he mentions JR saying he hopes it was an accident. So Triple H announces the Vince McMahon, and our newest member of DX. And then they announce Vince McMahon, so the crowd is initially like, huh? Oh, shit. And they even have a DX jersey for Vince. It says Vince on it. So Vince comes out and he's like, bullshit. You're not going to try to do this to me. He says, I'd rather join the WCW than join DX. And that got a good pop from the audience and Lawler and JR on commentary that he even said the name WCW. Because they haven't done that in a while.
No, it's like the name that should not be spoken, but they're so bad now, it doesn't even matter at that point.
Yep. And Vince McMahon goes on to say, I hope you all had your fun, because tonight, in this very ring, DX will compete in a Survivor Series 8-man elimination match against Shane, Kane, The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. So Vince does a crotch chop to Triple H after that, and heads to the back. Later, Shane's going to accept the apology from Vince McMahon about hitting him with the belt. Vince is backstage searching for Austin because he wants to talk to Austin to kind of smooth things over. Austin sees McMahon coming. Austin goes into his locker room and locks the door, and Vince is trying to get in. Austin's like, fuck that guy. And then we get to that main event later in the episode. It's a Survivor Series style match. The elimination style, DX versus Stone Cold, The Rock, Shane McMahon, and Kane.
We got more Survivor style matches in the coming weeks here than we have in the past 10 years in WWE.
There's 2 in a row. 2 Survivor Series style matches before Survivor Series. I guess they weren't too creative. They probably figured, just put them all in one match and that'll make it easier. Instead of trying to book separate matches throughout the night with all these guys. So anyways, we get to the match. It kicks off at 1 hour and 15 minutes on the show. Shane starts the match. He gets some offense in, but DX is isolating him in the corner. So Shane is kind of getting beat on for a little bit there. Shane's eventually able to tag Kane in while X-Pac is in the ring, and that's when all hell breaks loose. Everyone starts fighting in the ring. Kane hits a flying clothesline on X-Pac. Kane gets hit with the Famouser and the X-Factor. Then Kane is already eliminated pretty early on. Then at that point, Vince McMahon's going to head down to the ring. X-Pac is going to eliminate Shane after an X-Factor. And now you got 4-on-2. DX in the lead here, or with the advantage. Rock's going to hit the Rock bottom and then eliminate Road Dogg. The Rock is double teamed by Billy Gunn and Triple H while Austin is being yelled at by Earl Hebner, his drinking buddy, is yelling at Austin for just ducking into the ring for a second.
Such a one-sided friendship these guys have.
Earl is such a dickhead to him. I'm just doing my job, Steve. I'm just doing my job. But yeah, that's what he's going back on. So yeah, the moment somebody on his team's getting double teamed and Austin's going to run in to try to help, the referee always goes after the guy that's not getting double teamed. How do you not go yell at the guys that are double teaming? You yell at the guy that's barely even in the ring. He's got like one leg in the ring, and he's going to get yelled at before the other guys that are already teaming up on somebody. But that's Earl for you. The Rock's going to eventually make that hot tag and get to Austin. Austin cleans house. Austin stuns X-Pac, eliminates him. Then it becomes 2-on-2. Austin nails Billy Gunn with the Luthez press, punches elbow. Austin tags The Rock in. The Rock sets up for the People's Elbow. Triple H hits The Rock as he hits the rope. So as The Rock is going for the elbow, Triple H is going to stick his knee out and hit The Rock. Austin attacks Triple H, and they fight onto the ramp after that spot. The Rock rolls up Billy Gunn. He gets the 3 count. So now you have Triple H going up against now The Rock and Austin. Triple H tosses Austin into the steel steps. Billy Gunn's going to beat on Austin as Triple H eliminates The Rock after a pedigree. So now at this point you got 1-on-1 Triple H versus Austin at the 1 hour 25-minute mark. Austin runs into the ring and stomps away at Triple H in the corner. Triple H is hit with a stun gun, and then they hit a double clothesline, so both down in the middle of the ring. The Rock is refusing to leave the ringside area, and fucking Earl Hebner is going to walk out to the ramp and yell at him for not leaving. So now you have no official in the ring because Earl has to yell at The Rock. Meanwhile, Vince notices this, and he grabs a steel chair. He places it in the ring. Then he climbs on the edge to walk into the ring. But as he's doing that, Triple H yanks the chair. And Vince makes a little weak-ass attempt to grab the chair. And then he immediately runs back, and he grabs the championship belt, and he heads into the ring as Austin and Triple H struggle over the chair. Vince goes to hit Triple H with the belt, but Triple H ducks, and Austin gets laid out with the belt. And that's going to spell bad news for Vince McMahon. Because Austin's not going to be happy about that for sure. So again, you got another accident. You had Vince nailing Shane with the belt, and then the very next time, Vince is nailing Austin with the belt. So Triple H lays out Vince McMahon. He makes the cover on Austin. Once this has happened, Earl Hebner and his spider sense kick in, and he runs right back into the ring. And he goes to make the 3 count for Triple H. And Triple H gets the win for his team and over Austin. So, fucking Earl Hebner. He wants to have all these beers, but he's willing to just go run in and cover and give Triple H the win. Without any question of, what happened here? Like, all of a sudden, these guys are knocked out?
Yeah, these guys are laid out. It happens a lot in wrestling. That's a problem of mine because, like, it's like, doesn't draw any questions to officiating. You just make the count.
Right. I would, if I was the official, yeah, or anybody was, realistically.
Like, hold on, we got this big fucking Titantron. Let me see the replay.
Right, exactly. Like, hey, I'm not making a count. I don't know who hit who.
They tested replay out, didn't they? Like, over the past year or two, and they just, like, gave up on it quick.
Yeah, because then it hampers the storytelling.
Yeah, big time. Handcuffs them. You can't do anything shady.
No. So Austin's obviously going to be pissed with Vince here. Triple H nails Austin from behind with the belt. So Austin not only gets hit by McMahon, but then he's going to get hit again. And you're going to have an infuriated Austin coming up here on the next Raw. So Austin doesn't know what to make of it, and he thinks McMahon is fucking him up the ass again. So bad news for Vince McMahon to have a pissed off rattlesnake. And that brings us now to the Go Home Raw, which is Raw 337 from November 8th. 1999, and this is live from State College, Pennsylvania, home of Penn State, Beaver Stadium. So let's take a listen to this opening promo. We put it down into chunks, so we'll talk about each part after you hear it. So take a listen to this first portion with McMahon and Austin.
These fans standing in anticipation.
Testing 1, 2. Last week on Smackdown, right here, as Vince McMahon likes to say, in this very ring, that son of a bitch hit Stone Cold in the face with the WWF Championship belt.
Yeah, he did. No doubt about it.
And for those of you that know me, and for the people that don't know me, Stone Cold Steve Austin don't like to get hit in the face with a damn belt.
I think that's an understatement.
So what I'd like to see and show for the people that didn't see that, roll that damn footage right now.
One more look at it. What do you think, JR? Man, I'm almost afraid to speculate.
I think you can.
Uh-oh. I think the fans here have made their mind up. Yeah. I ain't saying they're right. I don't think you better say anything.
Well, then, let's bring that asshole right out here so we can get the answer from him right now.
Oh. Austin calling out.
Vince, I know you're back there. Bring your little carcass to this ring, or I'll come back here and beat your ass and drink a case of beer in the process. Give me a damn beer. This might take a while.
Austin has called out Vince McMahon. Yeah, hurry up, get out of here.
All right, so Austin starts off. He says, last week in this, like Vince McMahon likes to say, right here in this very ring, that son of a bitch hit me in the face with the WWF belt. Stone Cold Steve Austin don't like to get hit in the face with a damn belt. Just like the phrasing of that was funny. Yeah, I don't want to get hit with a belt, motherfucker. Not only once, but twice. So Austin goes back. He plays the footage. And then after the people see the footage of it, the crowd starts the asshole chant. And Austin, well, let's bring the asshole out here. So we can get some damn answers from him right now. And then he doesn't come right away, so Austin threatens to kick his ass, and I'm going to drink a case of beer in the damn process. Says, get out here. So Vince McMahon heads out there. Now let's listen to what Vince's rebuttal has to be. Check it out.
Oh, Stone Cold.
No. Before you go flapping your little gums, you think real hard about what you're fixing to tell me. You got about 18,000 people calling you an asshole.
Deja vu.
I want to know if you're a lying asshole or an honest asshole. That's what I want to know.
Oh, come on.
Did you make a mistake when you hit Stone Cold Steve Austin with that belt? That's what I want to know. We all make mistakes. Everybody mistakes. I know damn well what would have happened.
You having problems with his mic? Is this another mistake?
Microphone. I know. Saying, and I ain't giving you my damn mic. Give the son of a bitch.
Come on, somebody get him a microphone that works, right? A lot of mistakes conveniently taking place lately.
Let's start again because I couldn't hear a damn thing you were saying. Well, first of all, let me just say for the record.
I don't think we're going to be using that mic again tonight, but costs about $800.
That was a $10,000 microphone.
$10,000. It's going up.
And if you raise your voice to me one more time, I'll throw your little carcass up there just like that.
Hey, that's worth a lot more than $10,000.
All right, take the bass out of your voice when you talk to Stone Cold. Let me just say for the record that I don't appreciate being called an asshole, whether I'm an honest one or not. But secondly, let me say this for the record as well. That was an accident. I would have known full well what the repercussions would be if that wasn't an accident, Stone Cold. And you can look in my eyes, and I think you can believe me.
There you go. Can't be any more straightforward than that.
You see, I'd like to say there's an old expression about lightning can strike twice in the same place. I never believed it myself, but it did. That's the best thing you can tell me is that lightning can strike twice. That's the best you got?
You're talking about we hit it straight.
You want me to beat that sumbitch's ass? Give me a hell yeah.
Oh, no, wait a minute. You got to get a guy the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, wait a minute.
We don't need
wait
this.
just a damn minute.
Uh-oh.
Just to prove to you that I'm not lying, I'm going to appoint myself the guest referee in the triple threat match at Survivor Series. That's what I'll do.
Man. Well, wait a minute.
You're damn right.
Vince McMahon,
I'll prove it to you.
Vince McMahon, the special referee at the Survivor Series. And, well, wait just a second. What's The Rock doing out here? Well, The Rock will be another challenge here in the triple threat match this Sunday at the Survivor Series on pay-per-view when The Rock and Stone Cold.
All right, so as Vince is heading down the ramp, he's yelling. He's like, "This is a damn mistake. It's a mistake." Austin says to him, "I want to know if you're a lying asshole or an honest asshole. That's what I want to know. Did you make a mistake when you hit Stone Cold Steve Austin with that belt?" So Vince goes on to say, "Everyone makes mistakes. I know damn well what would have happened." And then his mic cuts off. And this is where some of the fun begins here in this promo. Vince's mic cuts off. Austin's pissed. He says, "Give that son of a bitch a mic that works." So Austin rips the mic from the production guy that's going to give a new mic. And then he just gives him like a dirty look too. Just like the added touch to it. Just turns around, gives him a little stare down like, "Motherfucker, this one better work."
Yeah. The guy's all scared too.
Yeah.
It's funny how sometimes those ring guys, like the sound production dudes, they when they end up in the show, they know to act like a bitch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right, because that's how they should react to like these big tough guys. Like, "Oh, yeah, shit, sorry." So Austin's so pissed he takes the broken one and he just throws it into the crowd. And it looked like Vince was shocked too. Like, what the fuck? What the hell did you just do that for? But Austin just chucks the fucking thing in there. And then McMahon goes, "That was a $10,000 microphone." Bullshit. $10,000 microphone? Come on. Even Lawler was like, "Oh, $10,000."
Yeah, that's what happened. They were on the same page because Vince McMahon wasn't in Lawler's earpiece telling him what to say.
You're right. Yeah, Lawler says, "That was $800. But then McMahon says it's $10,000. And he's like, "Oh." But no way. How much would one of those cost? What do you think?
Oh, you're asking me? I have no fucking clue.
Fucking microphone for
not $800.
PA system?
Not back then.
Yeah, can't be that much. I mean, they're no different or special than the ones that you can freaking buy, have in your house if you wanted to.
I mean, the most expensive part might be the licensing of the fucking Raw logo.
Yeah, maybe. And then, all right, so Austin goes on after he throws the mic into the crowd. He says, "If you raise your voice one more time, I'll throw your little carcass up there just like that." And then a great line that he says is, "Take the bass out of your voice when you talk to Stone Cold."
Love that line.
I think I'm going to have to use it one day if a kid ever gets fresh. Take the bass out of your mouth when you out of your voice. Or if my daughters yell at me one day. Once they know what the word bass means. You know?
Yeah, they'll be all confused. What the fuck? It's a big word, Dad.
When they're a little older, they try being fresh. I mean, they're fresh anyway, but yeah, the kids. So anyway, Vince says he doesn't appreciate being called an asshole. Vince says he knows what the repercussions would have been if he did that on purpose. So Vince is like, lightning struck twice in the same place. I can't believe it. I mean, not exactly lightning struck twice. It's like you hit two different people. Two different occasions, so it's not exactly the same thing. You fucked up twice.
Yeah. It's the stretch of that phrase he's using there.
Right.
Kind of backwards.
Right. So Austin's like, "That's the best thing you can tell me? Lightning struck twice? That's the best you got?" then he just turns to the crowd. You want me to beat his ass? Give me a hell yeah. So Vince says, you know what? To even prove to you, and this fucking gets up my ass because this makes no sense. To even prove to you,
I know. This is stupid.
I'm going to appoint myself special guest referee at Survivor Series. Like, what? That doesn't prove shit. If anything, it's another situation where you can fuck up and screw him again. Or screw him intentionally. So, that was just stupid. And now The Rock is not happy with what's gone down here. So, he's going to come out. And let's take a listen to that.
Now The Rock says, Vince, you want to appoint yourself the special guest referee at Survivor Series? Well, The Rock does indeed smell what you're cooking, and quite frankly, it smells like the biggest pile of monkey crap The Rock has ever seen.
Uh-oh. The Rock doesn't like Mr. McMahon's appointment.
I guess not.
Now, the Brahma Bull and the Rattlesnake don't agree on much, but one thing we damn sure agree on, and that is to never. And The Rock means never, ever trust a Rudy Poo candy ass.
Oh my gosh.
The Rock inferring that Mr. McMahon's a candy ass?
I think if I was Vince, I'd leave.
Give me that microphone. What's the matter with that mic?
More microphone? Oh no! That's what's wrong with the microphones.
So you don't believe then that that was an accident? You don't believe that me striking Austin was an accident? That's what you're saying. Oh, I'll tell you what then. Whoa. Let me remind you of No Mercy. I suppose it was no accident when Stone Cold was facing Triple H for the WWF title and you blasted Stone Cold with a sledgehammer. Was that an accident, Rock?
Uh-oh. That's a good question.
Remember that?
Yeah, was it an accident? It's a good question. Deserves an answer.
See, that's what I'm trying to tell both of you. Accidents do happen. By God, it's an accident that Triple H is the WWF champion. That's an accident too.
What?
Triple H might not appreciate that.
Oh.
All right, so The Rock's out there. He's not happy about it. They pan over the crowd, and then there's a sign that says, "Why did Austin get so fat?" And I was like, what the fuck? What kind of sign is that? That's a bullshit sign. Steve Austin not fat. That's trolling. Early trolling back in 1999 with their signs. How can anybody say a bad thing about Steve Austin back in 1999? Fuck them. The Rock says, never to trust a Rudy Poo candy ass like Vince McMahon. Then the mic's fucked up again, and Austin's going to chuck another microphone into the crowd. And Vince is all pissy about The Rock not believing him, and Vince questions The Rock, and I thought this was pretty good, nice added touch. He questions The Rock about hitting Austin with the sledgehammer at No Mercy. He says, was that an accident, Rock? Was that an accident? And JR's like, good question. Because now it's like, who's lying? What's going on here? Was The Rock intentionally try to hit Austin before? Was McMahon trying to hit the chain, or was he trying to hit Austin? So now it's kind of like a mystery. And this is when McMahon says, accidents happen. That's what I'm trying to tell you. My God, it's an accident that Triple H is the WWF champion. That was like that, and that gets the attention of Triple H to come on out now.
Now Triple H is not happy.
So let's take a listen to what the fourth man has to say with Triple H.
Now let me get this straight.
Get the same reaction Vince McMahon got.
That guy's a real asshole.
Ah!
I think we're all in agreement here that you three are a bunch of screw-ups. We all agree on that. Hell, I agree on that. You've all made mistakes. But the fact of the matter is here, the only one that doesn't make mistakes is me.
I gotta agree with him.
Because when it comes right down to it, I've beaten all your asses
and there has been no mistakes. It has not been an accident. The truth is plain and simple. I am that damn good.
He does have the WWF Championship, JR. Can't argue with that.
That says a lot.
Now at Survivor Series, Vince, it's not gonna make a damn bit of difference if you're the referee. It's not gonna make a damn bit of difference that I'm facing two guys at once, because when it's said and done, mistakes or not, I will walk out the World Wrestling Federation champion.
It's going to be a huge challenge to accomplish that.
And Vince, while we're talking about mistakes, you get your punk ass in my face tonight, and it is gonna be the biggest mistake of your life.
Wow. Triple H threatening Vince. Triple H threatening the chairman of this company.
Call him a punk ass. Oh.
You know, everybody's up here talking about mistakes this, mistake that. Hell, the only mistake's gonna be made when you show up at Survivor Series, and whether it's the Brahma Bull or Stone Cold, the bottom line is you're gonna get your ass whipped, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
All right, Triple H comes out to the ramp. He gets the asshole chance, and Vince McMahon kind of off the mic, but you can still hear it. Still picks it up. He's on the side of Austin and goes, "He's the real asshole," pointing to Triple H. And just thought that was pretty cool. Nice little added touch there by McMahon. Triple H calls the three of them a bunch of screw-ups. Triple H says he doesn't make mistakes. He's beat all their asses before because he's that damn good, which becomes one of his catchphrases for a while. I am the game, and I am that damn good. Triple H warns Vince he better not get his punk-ass face in his way, or it's going to be Vince's biggest mistake in his life. And Jerry Lawler seems to get a kick out of the use of punk-ass. You call him a punk-ass. Can you do that? Call him a punk-ass. So Austin goes on to say, hell, the only mistake that you're going to make is when you show up at Survivor Series. Because whether it's the Brahma Bull or Stone Cold, you're getting your ass kicked, and that's the bottom line. Stone Cold said so. So, nice little build-up there for the triple threat at Survivor Series, which it's a shame. We're getting teased here big time for it. And they're hoping that we get it, but it's not going to work out. Let's just see what happens as we get there. All right, The Rock's going to have a match against X-Pac during this episode, and the one thing about X-Pac, he's coming out with this fucking energy drink, like every single time.
I didn't even know there were energy drinks in the 90s.
He has it. All it says
it was like Surge, right?
It just says energy on it. It says energy. And I kind of remember that, but how the fuck does he get his own deal to bring out this energy drink all the time? Like, 'cause I'm sure, well, maybe he was just bringing it out on his own, but he was kind of like promoting it. So I don't know if he had a deal or not with this. But anyways, The Rock calls him out on it. He says, "You stupid little energy drink." And McMahon's watching backstage on the big ass Trinitron, and X-Pac is in control pretty early in this match. And if it's X-Pac in the match, it's gonna be a decent match usually, as long as it's not like a match against Kane, because those usually aren't that good. But X-Pac hits The Rock with the steel chair. Earl Hebner gets up to make the count. The Rock kicks out. The Rock's going to block an X Factor and hits the Rock Bottom, gets the win here. Then DX is going to run down. Triple H is going to pedigree The Rock. Vince McMahon then comes out and he says, this is between Triple H and himself. He tells DX to get out of there. So now Vince tells Triple H that you'll defend the championship against Test. So there'll be a match for the title, Triple H and Test. And Shane McMahon will be the special guest referee. Vince McMahon is a special guest timekeeper. And Vince says if DX gets within 50 feet of the ring, he will strip the title from Triple H. So Triple H is pissed here. He's starting to take off his shirt. He's ready to go after Vince, but The Rock slides back in, hits the rock bottom, and also nails the People's Elbow. And then we get to the end of this episode, and it's that Triple H versus Test Championship match. As Austin looks on from the back, Shane is making fast counts for Test. Vince is tossing Triple H back into the ring, so unfair for Triple H here. Triple H is carrying this match, of course, with Test involved. And not a horrible match, but it serves its purpose. So anyway, what ends up happening is Test hits a pump handle slam. Test climbs to the top for an elbow drop. He nails it, but the Road Dogg appears on the Titantron and says that Stephanie is having the time of her life.
This is fucked up, this part.
Yeah. And Billy Gunn and X-Pac have her on the floor in the locker room. Yeah, you can't see her face, but you hear her screaming and her legs are kicking. She's on the
legs
floor.
and shit, yeah.
Right. And so Vince and Shane, and Test, they just all leave. They book it backstage. Triple H wins via count out. That's what they say. They make an announcement too, but there's no ref because the ref was knocked out. And all of a sudden there's a 10 count. Whatever. Vince can't find Stephanie. He's yelling for Stephanie. Stephanie! He can't find her. So Triple H is in the ring, and this is the end of the show. Triple H is standing there. He's getting shit chucked at him in the ring. There's bear flying in.
Legit heel heat.
Yeah, they hate his ass. And one of them comes flying at him. He swats it down, and he just pegs him off. So, yeah, pretty much hated there.
Made that fan's day, though.
Yeah. Yeah, mine got on. And he pegged me off. All right, so we got a heat-building segment there to end that episode Raw. And then we get to SmackDown episode 12 from November 11th, 1999. And this was taped on the 9th. And it's from Baltimore, Maryland. And we're going to start off with the DX McMahon promo. And Triple H is gloating that they're on top of the world. Not only were they on top of the world, but even Stephanie, too, or whatever. You know, they're bullshitting about that. About being on top of Stephanie. Triple H cuts to the footage from Raw. It shows McMahon screaming and yelling about it. And then they're all goofing about Stephanie's dress. Road Dogg has the dress. X-Pac says it needs to be checked for DNA. Like it's Monica Lewinsky's dress or something. The cum stains on it.
Typical 90s reference.
Right. So they're saying basically is that they raped Stephanie, is what they're saying here. Triple H reveals it wasn't Stephanie, but it was just some Penn State slut. So, okay, they admit to raping a college girl then instead. These guys. So Gunn says he punctured her lungs. And Triple H is like, I don't know, buddy. I don't know about that. I don't know if you're that big. But Triple H says he'll make no mistakes at Survivor Series, and then Vince heads out. And Triple H continues to make fun of him, yelling, Stephanie. Vince is like, I think it's all funny. He says, I could fire all your asses right here on the spot. And then he says, I could go get myself an equalizer and make everybody a bloody mess. I was like, oh, shit. Does he mean he's going to go get a gun?
Yeah, right? I didn't catch that. That's funny.
And make everybody a bloody mess?
I'm going to kill you, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's basically what he's saying.
You dead, bitch.
I mean, it could be interpreted as he's going to get an equalizer and, like, a couple wrestlers or whatever. You know, like, get Test and Shane. And
then, yeah.
Then it'll be equal. A pound on him or something, but, yeah. I've heard of that before, an equalizer gun, you know. All right, anyway, so...
yeah, absolutely. That's kind of...
All right. So Vince announced...
what an equalizer is.
Right. So Vince announces a Survivor Series style match. Here we go. Another Survivor Series style match. DX against The Rock, Kane, Shane, and Test. Not Austin this time. Test. And this is just days before the big match. So you would think Austin would be in this match. But they're being cautious with Austin. He's going to be involved as a special enforcer. But they know that he's injured. And they don't want to take any risks at this time, just prior to the pay-per-view. So keep him out of the match, have him involved, because they're waiting for results. Basically, they're waiting for like the okay for him to wrestle on Sunday. So they're just trying to keep him involved, but don't want to get him hurt any more than he already is. And they're crossing their fingers, hoping that he can wrestle at Survivor Series. And then Triple H goes on to say there that, Stephanie is smiling because, she's laughing at how bad Test is in the sack. Or she's smiling because she's just thinking of how good DX could be in the sack. All this is funny because of what eventually ends up happening.
Between
them being
Triple H
married.
and...
Yeah. So Test runs in, gets beat down. And Test gets bloodied up real quick and his nose gets all beat. It's like fucked up his nose. All right, so also going on during this episode is you have Arnold Schwarzenegger backstage and roaming around the WWF. And the first person he bumps into is, he runs into McMahon at first, and Pat Patterson and Briscoe when he gets out of his limo. They talk about how excited he is to be at Smackdown. But then he meets up with The Rock. And I just thought that was crazy looking at it now.
Yeah.
It's like the original Hollywood action star and then the new one. At that time, Arnold was on his tail end of being the big Hollywood star. And The Rock was just starting. And now The Rock is Arnold today, basically.
And Arnold was 52 years old here, I think, when I looked it up.
Yeah.
Fucking looks good for 52, man.
I look great for 52.
I thought he was in like his late 30s, early 40s. Dude's 72 years old now.
Yeah. Right. 20 years later. 72. And Vince McMahon's a couple years older than him. And Arnold looks better than McMahon.
Oh, big time. Arnold might have been like the most well-fit 50-year-old on the planet.
So Arnold's talking to The Rock. He says, and obviously he's being fed all these catchphrase things to do it. And it sounds so corny when you go back and watch it. Arnold's like, yeah, I smell what The Rock's cooking. Also, there's a lot of jabronis in Hollywood. And The Rock's like, yeah, I'm sure I'll learn that. And then you're going to get Arnold bump into Austin. Now, this is not a whole lot, but hey, it's Austin and Arnold together. You got to play the clip.
Yeah, got it.
All right, let's take a listen to this clip.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Talking about looking forward, I'm looking forward watching you open up the can of whip ass at Survivor Series. That's what I'm looking forward to. Give them hell. Talking about hell, I fought the devil just in the last movie, so it's doable, okay? So just go for it.
Hey, I got some advice to you. Open up a can of whoop ass on Satan at end of days, and I think you know what I mean.
Now you're talking. That's my man.
All right, so Arnold says he's looking forward to Austin and open a can of whoop ass at Survivor Series and to give him hell. And then he even says, this is just all so stupid because we know it's a movie, Arnold, that you're in. End of Days is a movie, and you filmed it. That, hey, I fought the devil in the last movie, so it's doable. And then Austin's like, yeah, Arnold, open up a can of whoop ass on Satan at End of Days. It's like, first of all, the movie's already filmed. It's a movie. It wasn't kicking any devil's ass. CGI shit. So, yeah, just all around dumb. Dumb, awkward segment.
I remember that movie. I liked it.
I liked it too. I remember it. I went to the theaters for that. I went to the theaters for almost every movie back then.
I was going to say, yeah, you fucking...
Whatever it was.
Those guys that... what the fuck? I forgot the guys that reviewed movies.
Siskel and Ebert?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was fucking down to watch anything back then. I didn't do shit. It worked. No girlfriend. You go watch movies.
I went to the movies a lot too.
Yeah.
During that time. Not as much as you, but I did go a lot. Definitely more than average.
Yeah, I probably went at least twice a month, and that would be the low end, twice a month. As most kids probably did, 16-year-olds at that time. When you first get your license, too, you want to fucking just go anywhere, so...
Yeah, you want to use your ID, you want to drive.
Right, you want to feel like an adult. Just trying to fit into society. All right, so Vince McMahon's gonna bring Arnold out, and Vince walks out. He has the blue strap WWF Championship belt, and he's gonna give it to Arnold. And they're hyping up the movie End of Days. Vince pulls out his announcing voice for Arnold. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like he's been waiting to say that his whole life. Then Arnold's like, I'm here to pump you up. Then Vince gives Arnold the belt. And of course, Arnold would do this. He's holding the belt fucking upside down. I feel like everybody that's not in wrestling, when they have a wrestling appearance, they do something that just stands out. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah. You could tell whether they're a fan or not.
Right.
Are they a casual or a fanatic,
Right. So he has it upside down, but then he puts it on his shoulder and redeems himself. He gets it right on the right way on his shoulder. And he looks like a champ with the belt there. So he looks legit. Like I said, we just said, he's 52 years old and looks damn good. So the crowd loves him, as they should. He's the man. Arnold tells Vince that he created an empire. And then Vince is all giddy about it. Like, yeah, someone recognized it. Arnold knows what I did here. And then DX is looking on backstage. They're all pissy about it. And I guess they played a trailer for End of Days here, but they edited it out from the network. And DX is going to attempt to attack Arnold backstage, so they're looking for him. They jump one other guy, and then they're going to break into another room that they think Arnold's in. But Kane, The Rock, and Shane are all in there, and then they stop fighting backstage. And the officials run in, and they separate things. Then that brings us to the main event match, which is a Survivor Series style elimination match. The Rock, Shane, Kane, and Test versus DX, with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the special enforcer. And Arnold Schwarzenegger will be on guest commentary. So Test is he's backstage. He has a busted nose, so he may not be able to compete in the match, is what they're saying. So he doesn't come out right away. Arnold says The Rock is called the most handsome wrestler there is. Then Arnold tells Jerry Lawler, not to be so shy about that. So Arnold thinks that Jerry Lawler's a handsome guy, and Jerry's like, thank you for that. And when I was hearing that exchange, I was like, well, Jerry Lawler always gets these fucking young hot girls, so
yeah,
gotta be something about him.
I don't know how to judge handsome, but other than that way, you know what I'm saying?
Right. There's something about his hair, though. Like, I can see, all right, yeah, handsome guy, but he's got that fucking bowl cut. Like, little bangs.
Haircut.
Yeah. The hair is just not right. All right, anyway, so Austin makes his entrance as the special enforcer. He wants some beers right away as he sits with timekeeper Marky Eaton. And the action starts with everyone in the ring. Testa has not showed up yet at this point. And you get a decent action in there. It's going to become 3-on-1 as Test is yet to arrive. It's The Rock versus Triple H and Billy Gunn and Road Dogg. Then Test is going to come in and help The Rock at that point. So now you get the 2-on-3. And they begin to brawl. Earl's going to DQ Billy Gunn for using a steel chair. And Austin had pointed it out to Earl. And that's when Earl does the DQ. So Earl doesn't even witness it. He just takes Steve Austin's word this time. And that gives the DQ. And now it's 2-on-2. The Rock's going to eliminate Road Dogg. So it's Rock and Test versus Triple H. Triple H is going to knock Earl Hebner out. Stone Cold's then going to grab a steel chair and he's going to hit Triple H with it. But he does miss. So now we got another accident happening. Triple H ducks and Austin hits The Rock instead. So there's more accidents there. So it's all good shit though, building up to a triple threat match is that they've all hit each other or screwed each other at some point. Arnold grabs a steel chair. He's going to give it to Austin at 1 hour and 22 minutes. Austin then nails Triple H with it this time. And Austin makes the 3 count himself as Test covers Triple H for the win. Since Earl Hebner is knocked out, Austin's a special enforcer, so I guess that's legit. He can make the 3 count and award the win to Test. So Arnold is applauding. He's all happy about it. Triple H swings at Arnold. Arnold ducks and then whacks him with the backhand and then begins to pound on Triple H. And then Austin's going to raise Arnold's hand. They grab a couple of beers and they suck him down. I thought that was a pretty cool ending.
Yeah, it was.
With Arnold getting involved there.
It's weird. Arnold didn't look comfortable drinking the beer, so I looked up, does he not drink? So then I did a quick Google search, and apparently he does drink. He's actually a big beer drinker, and he used to drink like beer and like lemon juice or something after a workout.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Huh. Cool. It's a little weird. I was like, really?
Beer and lemon juice.
Yeah.
Maybe just didn't like whatever the beer was. He's like, this shit sucks. I don't want this. So that could have been the case. All right, so now we're gonna get to the our main event, I guess, but of sorts. Things are gonna get fucked up at this point. So we go on to the Sunday Night Heat. That is the pre-show for Survivor Series. There's gonna be this promo. Heat's not available on the network anymore, but you can get this clip on YouTube. It's mostly a Triple H promo, and then a Rock promo, and they're gonna call it. So Triple H is gonna call it The Rock. He's gonna call out Austin, and the moment Austin gets down to the ring, it's just moments left in the broadcast, and DX just runs down, and everybody starts brawling. DX, The Rock, and Austin are all just fighting in there. So it was an attempted ambush by DX to weaken The Rock and Austin prior to Triple H's match. So that's what happens on the pre-show. Then as we get into the pay-per-view, you have a couple interviews. You have one interview backstage. It's The Rock with Kevin Kelly, and Triple H is going to go after The Rock because that's what Triple H's plan is he wants to injure somebody before the match. He's going to try to injure both of them before the match so he has a better chance of keeping his title. So he attacks The Rock early on. That doesn't really work. Then there's another interview with Austin backstage. And as Austin is getting interviewed, Triple H attacks him. And then they start to fight to the backstage. Austin's going to give chase to Triple H, but then Triple H is not anywhere to be seen anymore. And Austin is in this parking garage now looking for Triple H. He can't find where he is. And then all of a sudden, headlights on a car turn on. And then it just kicks into gear and it busts through a chain link fence. And then immediately nails Austin, and Austin hits the ground. And then everybody's in a panic. Vince runs to go check on Austin. Shane, Stephanie, Tess, they're all there. They're all concerned. Austin gets a neck brace put on him. He gets put in the ambulance. Vince starts screaming at Triple H. He says he has nothing to do with what went on. Now, clearly, in my opinion anyway, it had to be Triple H. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, I know they visit it as because they actually never revisit it again. They just because it's kind of just implied that it's Triple H, but
right.
That's how I looked at it.
Right. It just seems like that's the obvious thing. It's Triple H or it's somebody in DX because why would it be any other kind of surprise? Plus, from what I've heard, what I read about this is that they didn't really have a plan anyway because they were just trying to get him off of TV. And this was just the way to do it. It's like, all right, we got to come up with some kind of injury story instead of just telling everybody, tonight, sorry, the doctor said he wasn't cleared, so he can't be in the match. So they wanted to have some kind of storyline thing to make it just a little bit entertaining, at least, to the audience rather than just, sorry, he can't fight tonight. We hoped he could, but he's not allowed to. So it makes sense that they wouldn't know where they're going to go with it. Because why would you... He might not even come back to wrestle, so why have a big plan? If Austin never returns. And he's basically not going to be back for a while. He's not going to be back until April, and that's only for a couple appearances. And then he's gone until September. So almost a whole year he's going to be out at this point. So they weren't thinking long-term with who's driving the car. Their probably initial thoughts was, it was probably Triple H or Billy Gunn, or somebody in DX.
They didn't really need to ever explain it because you just know it was one of them.
You're right. Yeah. That's true.
But I do give them kudos for revisiting it and kind of revising the implication in the future.
It is a good thing to do later too, and we'll get to this in the next couple of weeks when we cover it. Is to have him just in a new storyline, not just immediately going after Triple H, because maybe it could help make another star. Fortunately, it didn't work for the star that we're talking about. Rikishi, what it's going to be. But maybe they thought, well, we put Austin with Rikishi, and now Rikishi can be, bumped up a level, basically, because of his involvement. So that makes sense to do, too. So that kind of changes everything for the course of the night. So they'll announce later that Austin can't compete. Triple H is really concerned at first, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen? And then he says, it's not a triple threat match anymore, right? And then Shane's like, oh, you son of a bitch. That's all you care about. That's all you care about. And that makes sense. Like, if they're involved, that's what he would want. He didn't want a triple threat match. So Triple H he gets kicked out of the room, basically. And as he's getting kicked out of the room, he tells Test, who's back there, too, I'm sorry about your nose. And then Test slyly says, without missing a beat, he says, I'm sorry about yours, Gonzo.
That was funny. Gonzo's from the Muppets, right?
Right, with the big nose.
Yeah, I know who he is. I just forget which Muppet group he's part of, but he's from, the original Muppets.
Yeah. The Blue Muppet.
That was gold.
That's like the highlight of Test's career, in my opinion, now.
All downhill from there.
It was just so classic. You got to go back and listen. It's just, hey, sorry about your nose there.
Which they probably called him that a lot backstage.
Sorry about yours, Gonzo. yeah, they probably did. You're right. If it came to him that easy, yeah, it had to be. And for all we know, Test, while he might not be this cool character on TV, he's probably cool and somebody you want to fuck with backstage.
Yeah, look at the guy. He's a fucking monster.
Right.
He did that big dive off the top of the cage, the elbow drop.
Oh,
he covered a couple episodes
back. Was awesome. That's another highlight, too, I guess so. But yeah, I guess it's going to be downhill from here. He's going to be in TNA with Trish Stratus and Prince Albert. Test and Albert, TNA. Oh, I looked ahead a little bit. Early Trish, man. When she comes in 2000. Smoking.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not that she isn't now, too.
Yeah.
But 20 years ago, Trish?
She's like MILF porn hot now.
Right. All right, so there's going to be changes to the match. They say Austin has neck and back trauma, and that's basically legit because that's what he's going to be going for surgery for. And going to be out for an extended period of time. And we'll talk more about how we're going to cover the show when we wrap things up, going on from there. All right, so this is going to be the WWF Championship match, Triple H to Rock, and they don't know who the last-minute replacement is, and even when they're in the ring, Howard Finkel doesn't know who to announce, and then the music plays, and it's the Big Show. And I would know, from the way I thought of Big Show at the time, that it would have been a disappointment, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I was never really high on Big Show. When he first showed up, I was, and then I got over it quick, I remember.
And I guess, I mean, if you were going to put somebody else in, then, I guess you would think Mankind, right?
Right.
But these
Instead
guys,
they got him fucking bogged down with Al Snow and all that dumb shit.
Right. But he's involved in the Al Snow angle right now. And I guess they would see it as an opportunity to help somebody else out, too. Mankind's already could be at that level whenever.
That's true. That's a good point.
But if you took the Big Show and you put the belt on him right away, maybe that could help him out. And the Big Show is going through a lot of shit at this point too, where it's almost like a reward. And we'll talk more about it when we do an Attitude Update. But there's the shit with Big Boss Man and his daddy, and he's jumping on top of a casket in the cemetery. And Big Show's just doing that, and now here he is, main event picture, and he's gonna win the championship. So There's no sense of really going through everything that happens here, but Big Show's going to come off as the champion here, and the kind of final moments here is Triple H is going to hit a pedigree on Shane because Shane's trying to take the belt from Triple H. DX is going to run in to help Triple H. Vince comes out all pissed off, and Vince is going to nail Triple H with the championship belt. So any thought of Vince going after Shane or going after Austin kind of gets put to rest here because he hits Triple H, so he wasn't trying to help Triple H all along. He cost Triple H the championship, and Vince even makes the 3 count and awards the championship to the Big Show. And JR is on the mic and says, "It's showtime, it's showtime." So really trying to put the Big Show over as the champ here. The Rock is pissed off with Vince, of course, because they screwed The Rock out of a chance at the title by doing that, by knocking out Triple H. So Big Show's crying, he has the belt as the show ends, and obviously nobody would have guessed this. So that's another thing, too, is that at least what happened was something that nobody would have thought of. Austin being out of the match. Whatever you do to replace it's not going to be better than Austin being in the match. But at least this is something that nobody would predict. Nobody had any clue this was coming. Which doesn't make it good, but if that's all you have to work with that night when you have, or like the couple of days that you have to get ready for this, then, what else can you do? You're not always going to get something better to replace what you need to. So a surprise is always a good thing.
I'm sure they're paying him good money, too.
Oh, God.
I'm sure he wasn't a cheap contract at the time.
No, yeah, right. So he was a big contract. So they were like, all right, well, let's give him the championship and see how he does with it because he's getting all this money.
Yeah, you got to see if your investment's going to pay off.
Right, exactly. All right, so we're going to wrap things up here. But we're not going to do the Attitude Era update as we usually would, where we cover all the other things that happen on Raw and SmackDown and the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Because what we're going to do next week is, because Austin is gone at this point, what we're going to do is a kind of a recap of the big things. Not every little tiny thing that's happening on all the Raws or SmackDowns, but the big things that happen throughout the months that Austin's gone. So next week, we'll touch on some things from November. For instance, Stephanie getting married to Triple H when she's passed out, whether on pills or drugs or whatever the fuck, or drunk, but they get married in a chapel of love type thing in Las Vegas. That happens in November. So we'll just go through November, January, February, March, into April with an update, an Attitude Era update. And then we'll get to Austin returning at the Backlash pay-per-view. So we'll talk about what he does on the SmackDown leading up to the Backlash, and then we'll talk about Backlash. And that'll be next week. And then the following week, when he goes away again, he goes away for May, June, July, August, and into September. We'll just recap what happened in those months that were big in WWF. And then we'll pick up from where he returns at the, I believe it's the No Mercy pay-per-view in September. Those will be on next 2 weeks. So, good amount of Attitude Era update with a little bit of Austin in his returns while he was kind of on leave. And then from that point, he'll be back in action for all the rest of 2000 and through 2001. So that's how we're going to do that. Let's kind of wrap things up here. JV, do you have a...
Hell yeah.
Yeah, let's go into the oh, hell yeah. Because there's no Hot Joe rundown. So let's go to oh, hell yeah.
My oh, hell yeah is the whole Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff.
That's awesome.
In general, because I was a huge Arnold fan, I think, as like most kids our age were.
Right.
So it was cool to kind of, it was like justification in the entertainment world when a guy you get a lot of extra street cred when Arnold Schwarzenegger shows up on the television show that you watch every fucking week.
Right.
And he did well. I mean, you could tell Vince is giddy. He's always a bodybuilder guy, and that's Mr. Bodybuilder.
Right, exactly.
was Arnold. And and then the moments with the fact that you got The Rock, who's now like current day Arnold, and like who saw that coming? Like who really saw that coming back in '99?
Nope, nobody. So yeah, that's a great oh hell yeah moment. Yeah, all those moments with Austin, Arnold, Arnold beating up Triple H, having beers with Austin. I mean, some of the stuff early on in the night with Arnold, that was kind of but it's still fucking Arnold nonetheless. So pretty cool. My oh hell yeah moment is when Austin gets pissed with the microphones and just starts chucking them into the crowd. I just thought that was a great little moment for Austin. And so pissed off, just chuck it, Vince McMahon.
No, that's a good one.
Oh, hell no!
What about an oh hell no?
I think I have to go with the Hebner stuff. So back to just the point specifically, and it's basically because you called it out. That's why I had it highlighted and read in the notes. Was so he's all about celebrating beers, and I'm not one to go off on Earl Hebner like you are.
No,
but he's all about celebrating beers with Austin, wanting to be there, gain the spotlight with him. But he's never there to help the fucking guy out.
Nope, never. Always screwing him.
And when I read your note, I was like, it's true. This guy's like, he's just a fucking leech. Just a fucking alcoholic that comes around for the free fucking beer and fuck you when you need him.
Yeah, that's a good one. Fucking hell yeah. Hell yeah to me whenever oh hell no has to be related to Earl Hebner. So I like that one. But my oh hell no moment of the week is when Vince McMahon is trying to convince Austin that everything's on the up and up, and the way that he's going to prove it is, I'm going to be the special guest referee at Survivor Series just to prove to you, which proves nothing. So oh hell no to that whole idea that's what's going to clear his name. Don't worry, you can trust me. I'll be the special guest referee. That's oh hell no in my book. All right, so from there, let's kind of wrap things up. Like I said, next week is episode 62. We're recapping early part of 2000, getting us to April. And then the following week on episode 63, we will recap May through September and then cover his return at No Mercy. So those are the next couple of weeks that we got planned. All right, so before we get out of here, though, I want to give a couple of podcast plugs to our pals. First, starting with Talking Taker. Talking Taker, Alex and Travis, they cover the career of The Undertaker, and they are ways along. So, plenty of good episodes to go check out. Anything that you want to hear about The Undertaker, any point in his career, they've got it basically covered over there. So, check them out.
What year are they in now?
They are in 2007.
Holy fuck. They still got like another 13 years to do because he's still
do.
That's never going to end, huh?
Nope. But it'll slow down, I'm sure, because his appearances become
true.
So they're going to catch up soon, I think, because I think 2007 or 2008 is the last year that he's kind of full-time. And then he does just the WrestleManias, basically. Or maybe even SummerSlam. So it becomes very limited at that point. But yeah, they're moving along there, so check them out, Talking Taker. Also check out our friends at Booking the Territory with Mike Mills, Hardbody Harper, and Doc Turner, where they are covering old school wrestling, such as on Thursdays, they cover World Championship Wrestling, NWA, which would be their Saturday night show, the 605 show. And this week, they are covering October 8th, 1988. And on Sundays, they do another Southern wrestling show, and that's a Smoky Mountain Wrestling recap. And currently, they are at episode 180, which is July 15th, 1995. And again, those episodes come out on Sunday. And also check out Our Vantage Point with Joe Murata and Michael Quinn. And this season, they are covering the Royal Rankings and the Royal Flush of the best and the worst managers. And this week is week 2 of the best managers. They also do a segment called The Influencers, where they're going to talk about this week the influence of WCW Monday Night Draw and how it's affected wrestling since it came out. And then also they do a weekly review, and this week they're covering an episode of Mid-South Wrestling to review. So check them out. They are at Our Vantage Point or at OVP Podcast on Twitter. Also check out our friend Jay Free and his pop culture podcast called Free Your Geek. Free Your Geek, he does all different types of coverage of movies, music, mostly films, just a whole variety of different topics. So check out Free Your Geek. And he's currently about episode 83 and just did an interview recently. Don't remember who the interview was with. Michelle Santiago, I believe, was the interview. So check that out, Free Your Geek.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then also check us out on our Booking the Territory Patreon. And we still have that free episode available. If you still haven't checked that out, and then consider joining the Booking the Territory Patreon $5 tier for more episodes. This past week, we released ECW Hardcore TV 35 and 36, which was December 7th and December 14th of 1993. And then next week, we'll be doing episodes 37 and 38, which are the last 2 weeks of December of 1993. And we'll be moving on to 1994, where things really start to get hot, and Eastern Championship Wrestling will become Extreme Championship Wrestling later in that year. So check us out there at Extreme Cast on Twitter. All right, and again, just a reminder of our Twitters. I'm MPru83, MPRU83, and JV's at John Van Damage, and we are at Bottom Line Cast. That's all on Twitter. Please consider giving us a review if you like the show. 5-star review, even better. And subscribe to our YouTube page, Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. And thanks, guys, for listening. Like I said, we'll be back next week covering Austin's departure for a little bit and then his return in April of 2000. So we're skipping right through. We're getting into 2000 starting next week. So hope you guys tune in. Enjoy the show. We'll be back. So long.
And that's all I have to say about that.